after the shoot, he's like, I'm getting sushi, do you want to come? And I was like, okay, sure. And then he like goes to like kiss me, and I was like, whoa. I was like, what is this? Like, I have a boyfriend.
Her like monthly income was like $1 million, like 800,000, like 1.5, 2 million, $1 million. This is like monthly, which is just like mind blowing. Why
would I do a shoot for $5,000 when I can make $20,000 for the day as an OnlyFans girl? When you think you're better than you are is when you trip and you fall, and someone else who's working really hard will pass you. I was emotionally abused, and there was just like some really shitty situations.
Have you ever dated a broke dude? See, girls always say this.
Do you see these photos? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you know what men do when they look at these photos? And I was like, Mom, I'm like, stop. I put the Playboy thing on the counter, and my dad, he was like so like upset. He just walked out of the room, and I said, Dad, it's non-nude. I never think I'm good enough, or this imposter syndrome, right? I'm always like looking at other people as these are the goals. This is where I want to be. There was this shift that I had in the last year where I decided to say, everyone, I don't know if I can say that on here, but
what happens a lot in the modeling industry is that, especially from a very young age, models tend to think that the only way to succeed in the industry is by suffering.
I think more models are just focused on having really good genetics.
A lot of parents come to me and they're like, my daughter wants to be a model. She's so beautiful. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. It's not all about looks. So like, first question is I ask, do you want them to be a model, or do they want to be a model? I was rejected day in and day out for years. Rejection, you have to make it your friend.
Well, to be fair, yeah, if I had a daughter who popped on a Playboy magazine, I don't want to see that.
To find my purpose is my goal right now.
Is this fun for people? You know what I mean? Or is it like, oh, it's hard work, but like I like the result? Or is it actually fun, like doing the modeling? Because it looks so boring.
Everybody has a line as far as the monetary aspect of what they would do or what they would be willing to do in order to let go of their moral hierarchy is concerned. Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us and hope you continue to be a part of our family for the foreseeable future. And if so, please hit that subscribe button. I am Mohammed Malay here with my incredible co-host, Zach Evans, and our incredible guest of today, Joy. How's it going?
Hey guys, what's up? It's going great.
Awesome. Please introduce yourself, how old you are, where you're from, what you do.
I'm Joy Corrigan. I'm a model and actress. I live here in Los Angeles, and I grew up from North Carolina, a small town in the middle of nowhere. I have 6 brothers, 3 sisters. We didn't have a TV growing up, obviously.
Why is that obvious?
Because there's so many kids. My parents had nothing else to do.
That's crazy. Actually, Zach is from Wisconsin, and he had how many siblings? 5? So
yeah,
you were 6 also? Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're a big family, too.
Yeah. We had a TV, though.
Oh.
We didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch SpongeBob, until like high school.
Yeah.
I got made fun of.
I feel for you.
I know, it was really hard times.
That's crazy that you guys didn't have a TV.
Yeah, and we were homeschooled. And so I grew up very sheltered, super religious, church every Wednesday, Sunday. And yeah, we were really poor, powdered milk and farm life.
That's crazy.
And here I am now.
That's
so
crazy.
Different.
Well, tell us a little bit about where you are now, what you've accomplished, and obviously the difference between how you grew up and what you have now.
Yeah, so now I have a successful career and years of working in the modeling industry, the entertainment industry. I became big as a model, and then I shifted kind of into acting, and that's what I'm doing right now. I also work with a lot of social media deals, so I kind of have this career that's really rounded and all to do with entertainment mainly.
So the modeling aspect of things, you started, how old were you when you started? Because you moved here when you were, right before 18, you said, yeah?
Yeah. So I moved out of the house as soon as possible before I was 18. And I went to school in Florida. I dropped out of school, moved to Miami with $600 in my car and nowhere to stay. I stayed on a friend's couch and I was like, I'm going to make it as a model and actress. And I went and I knocked on all the agencies' doors and they're like, no. Like, you're too short, you're too blonde, you're too this or too that. And I was like, oh, this is not that easy. Like, this is actually hard. So what I had to do is I had to shoot and create this book of these images that were, impressive enough to get signed with agencies and work my way up. And it was not easy, but I started getting signed with lower agencies and then the bigger ones. I switched to those. Then I started traveling all over the world. I lived in Africa, Australia, Italy, Germany, New York, and then moved back all the way to LA, where I live now.
What was your turning point, would you say? From when you were like, oh, like this modeling thing is going to work?
Oh, I still never think it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny.
What is it? With 1 million something followers, you still think?
Yeah, it's funny. The whole way, I never think I'm good enough, or this imposter syndrome, right? I'm always like looking at other people as these are the goals. This is where I want to be. I never have felt like, oh, I made it. Which is, I know when I take a step back, I need to congratulate myself coming from where I was. I do pinch me sometimes. I'm like, is this real? If I'm on set and I'm shooting a movie with Bruce Willis, which I have, and that was just a cool moment. I have those cool moments when I'm on the runway and I'm like, wow, there's thousands of people, maybe 100,000 people watching this right now. And that's crazy to me. So, but I feel like those moments I get excited and grateful, but I never feel like, okay, I've made it, which is weird. I don't know why.
That's interesting. So was there a specific content or a specific moment that you remember that shifted your fame?
Actually, no. I think that it was a slow, steady movement of different things happening. A lot of people, a lot of girls, they will blow up overnight. They will get, they'll date Justin Bieber, or they will get Victoria's Secret as their first job. And it's, amazing for them after that. For me, it wasn't like that. I had to really work hard, and I would strive for a campaign so much, and then I wouldn't get it. But then when I didn't want it, I would get it. And then that would the next thing, I would strive for something more, and then I would get the smaller thing that I once used to dream of. So it was just a lot of hard work and being kind and good to people, even the people that are the small people who you wouldn't, whoever's sweeping the floor, right? You're kind to everyone because those people are going to be booking the campaigns one day.
So what are some of the negative experiences you've had in the modeling industry?
Oh man, I've had a lot.
I could imagine.
Well, so starting out, you have to fit a certain size. So I'd be measured all the time. And that stress of being a certain body type, really, it made me get an eating disorder, extreme dieting, really doing things that were not healthy for me just to stay this certain size, working out like crazy. And so that in itself, I think, is a negative side to the industry that I feel influences so many women, and women who are looking in and seeing us and they're like, oh, I want to look like that, so I'm going to not eat. And I think that's really unhealthy. And there was this shift that I had in the last year, I would say a year and a half, where I decided to say, everyone, I don't know if I can say that on here, but I'm going to look out for myself and my health first. And I went and I got an explant. I took my implants out because they were making me sick. I decided to eat for my health, work out for my health, and not for what I look like. And it shifted everything. I feel so happy. I feel so good now, and I'm enjoying the process. I enjoy stuff, and it's not like a stressful career anymore, and I'm being authentic, and I've gotten to really like be healthy again, which is like the coolest thing. What is life without health? So that's exciting.
That's very true. I think a lot of what happens a lot in the modeling industry is that, especially from a very young age, models tend to think that the only way to succeed in the industry is by suffering. And the reality of it is that's just not true.
It's not true. I think no one should have to go have a surgery, alter their bodies to get jobs, to be successful, to be loved or accepted. I think it's messed up.
I think more models should just focus in on having really good genetics. Like, I know some models eat McDonald's every day, still stay skinny, eat Burger King, whatever. I think if more models just have good genetics. It's the
You
best
think so?
workout plan. Yeah. You don't have to even go to the gym. You just have good genetics, and you just automatically are good. You're just hot.
Okay, I do agree with that, because some models, they do eat like really bad pizza, burgers, all that. But it does catch up to them. You don't see them working today.
Yeah, they don't have the longevity.
There's no longevity.
Yeah.
I'm 35. I've been doing this since I was 18, 19. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't put my health first.
Right.
You're a Tom Brady. They're a Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying? Had a year and then washed up.
I'd like to think of myself more like a Gisele than a Tom Brady, but
That's actually funny, because you do look alike a little bit too.
thank you. That's actually such a good compliment. I love her.
Yeah, she's awesome. Speaking of which, who are some of the people you look up to?
Ooh, I look up to, like, since a young girl, I looked up to Tyra Banks, Kate Moss, which she's just like icon. I really look up to Heidi Klum, Gisele, you know, the iconic models. They are smart and stunning.
Would you ever think of tutoring younger models who are trying to come up in the industry?
I actually haven't thought of that, but I would totally be open to it. A lot of, you know what's funny? A lot of parents come to me and they're like, my daughter wants to be a model. She's so beautiful. And I'm like, oh gosh, here we go.
You're like, she's not that beautiful.
I'm like, let me show you a picture. And I'm like, okay. And then they show me a picture of their daughter, right? And, you know, honestly, it's not all about looks. So, like, first question is I ask, do you want them to be a model or do they want to be a model? Because if you want them to be a model, there's no way that they can succeed in this industry, because for someone to succeed, they have to want it more than anything. And that's what I wanted. I wanted success more than anything. And you have to have that grit. You have to, like, I was rejected day in and day out for years. Rejection, you have to make it your friend. You have to be strong enough to be criticized by the way you look.
Yeah, because it's not about you.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with you. They just, whoever is choosing has a certain criteria, and everybody looks different. Everybody has a different way that they're perceived, and so that it's not nothing personal. You know, and a lot of people do take it personally.
It might be personal too. Who knows?
Has it ever been personal for you?
I don't know. But also, I don't care.
I mean, there has to be some drama going on behind the scene for somebody to, you know what I mean?
No, I do.
If you rejected somebody who like came onto you, which I'm assuming has happened.
Oh, that has totally happened, actually. So one of, who I'm not going to name.
Sure. But
he's already been named, so you guys can figure it out. I just moved to LA, and I was like bright-eyed, so excited about being a model, and he he was shooting me. He asked to shoot me, and he was shooting me in this very like sexual poses and all this. And I was like, oh, this is weird, but okay. He's like so big, and he shoots like all these other VS models, so they must like trust him. But I felt like it was a little weird. And then after the shoot, he's like, I'm getting sushi. Do you want to come? And I was like, okay, sure. And then he like goes to like kiss me. And I was like, whoa. I was like, what is this? Like, I have a boyfriend. Like, what? And he's like, oh, okay. Then, like, basically, you're not going to get your photos. And I was like, okay, that's really messed up. So I was like, maybe he's not serious. And so he would be like texting me to come over, and I would say no. And then he would even show me the photos like on his videotape of them on the screen. They were so good. And he's like, if you want these photos, come over. And I would be like, oh my gosh, these photos could change my career right now. This guy is like the top guy. But I couldn't because thank God I have amazing parents who put good morals in me. I was like, it's not worth it for me to compromise who I am as a person to like get these images. So it took me longer than it could have to get to where I am today. But things like that, advances like that, like I'm just like, it makes me angry to think that how many times he did that to different girls.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, he was doing it probably to every single person.
Yeah,
you know, which is crazy. But has that happened more than once?
Yes. I was shooting with a photographer. This is a lot of times more in the beginning of my career, because I feel like once you create a name for yourself, people can't really try that as much.
They wouldn't dare, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they would dare. They might.
No, there's some dudes that would, I think.
Yeah, I think they would
don't
too.
Give a fuck.
Now what I usually do is I always have my assistant on set with me or someone from my team.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen if you have someone with you.
Right.
But in the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. I was always doing these like free tests with these photographers who were like, you know, trying to get me naked half the time. And I was like, well, this is what modeling is, you know? And yeah, there was just so many weirdos out there, honestly. I had to like learn quick. And coming from a farm, not knowing much, I had to really start being fast on picking up how people are and what their intentions were. So I feel like now I'm pretty good at reading people.
Were you telling your family these stories?
So,
or not? You were like, I'm not going to say what's going on.
No, definitely not. But with my family, they're super religious. And I remember when I did my first like swimsuit shoot and I posted the pictures on Facebook because there was an Instagram back then. Mm-hmm. And my mom sat me down to have an intervention because I was sinning, she said. And she pulls up the computer and she like goes to my page of the pictures I had just posted. And she's like, do you see these photos? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you know what men do when they look at these photos? And I was like, Mom, I'm like, stop that. She's like, you're making them sin. And I was like, I just like didn't know what to say except for that's not true and I'm going to do it anyways. And so I just like rebelled and I said, I'm sorry you feel this way. Bye. And I made my account private or something. I can't remember what I did, but I just like left to a different state and I just kept going. And then I would get a call like, hey, when are you going to get a real job? Because I wasn't making money in the beginning. Uh-huh. And I'm like, I'm going to make it. You know, I kept going. And then finally, years later, I was able to help out my parents financially mm-hmm. and contribute to them. And it shifted their whole idea of what I was doing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They were like, wow, this is actually a real career.
Money cures all. Money cures all.
But also I think too, they had their own growth and idea of what they thought was right and wrong, and the other kids in my family were way worse, so they're like, she's an angel now. like my other brothers ended up being like way crazier. So
It's safe to say that you still have a relationship with your family.
Oh, I am so close with my mom and dad. They are so supportive now. It took some years for them to come around.
Right.
But they, like, my whole family is just rooting for me all the time. Once I brought home the Playboy, when I did Playboy, and I put the Playboy thing on the counter, and my dad, he was like so like upset. He just walked out of the room, and I said, Dad, it's non-nude, because it was like the last non-nude issue of Playboy. And my sister and my mom were like, congrats on being a playmate. They were just so excited. Like, did you get me a copy? So like completely different from years before.
I can understand your dad being upset, because that's, it's different for a dad, but your mom and sister, obviously that's,
Yeah.
a little bit different.
My dad he doesn't ask questions. He just,
right. Yeah. He's just, I don't want to know. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I get it.
He loves me.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, if I had a daughter, she plopped on a Playboy magazine, like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like happy for you, like, or for my daughter, whatever, but I would like, I don't know if I want to visually, like, it'd be a little weird.
Uncomfortable, yeah, for sure.
Totally.
What is your biggest goal and aspiration in life?
To find my purpose is my goal right now, and I think I am. It's using my voice, but I think just continuing down that path. And ultimately, as career-wise, I'm really focusing on acting right now. And yeah, there is a strike going on, so I'm just in classes and doing commercials and stuff. But that's my ultimate goal, is to really just dive deep into the acting world. And I've already done a few movies and TV shows. So just continuing down that path, because for me, it's a lot more challenging, but a lot more rewarding than modeling. You just, show up, have a bunch of people do a bunch of stuff to you. It's a lot harder than that, but hair and makeup for hours. It is hard. It's hard work, but I think, acting is just, it brings so much more happiness to me.
I dated a model one time, and I remember going to her shoot one time, and it was like 8 hours, and I was just sitting there like watching her, just like, okay, do these poses, next close, same poses, next close. And like 8 hours, I was like, is this fun for people? You know what I mean? Or is it like, oh, it's hard work, but like I like the result? Or is it actually fun, like doing the modeling? Because it looks so boring to me.
Yeah, that sounds super boring. I would hate that. That's called e-com, which is like for website, and it's usually front, back, side, and it's like racks of clothes. And,
literally, that's what it was.
And it's just when you're shopping on a website and you're looking at the clothes, that's that. And I refuse to do e-com. Not refuse. I'll do it for the right price. But
what price is that?
I told my agent, only if it's a really good brand, I'm not going to do it. Because I did my time. I did that for years. And yeah, that's how we get our bills paid, right? And then the campaigns are what really make a difference in a model's career, or the editorials, which are a lot more fun. And it's not just like front, back, side. It's creative. You can be a different character. Usually the character they want you to be, though.
That's it.
Okay, so here's a question. How do you differentiate doing OnlyFans from modeling?
That's a good question. So I'm not on OnlyFans.
Sure.
And a lot of people ask. I don't have anything against it. It's just not for me, because I feel that I want to be making money for something other than my body, I guess. Maybe for...
But one could argue that modeling is precisely that, no?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I think that the sexual side of it is what I'm not comfortable with. And I don't know, I've never been on it, but I've heard crazy things about OnlyFans and OnlyFans girls. And there is this persona around it that is kind of a negative persona within the industry with legitimate models and OnlyFans girls. And this is just what I've heard. I don't know. And I'm sure some of my friends are OnlyFans girls and also models and both successful. But for me, I feel like there's that line of, okay, why would I do a shoot for $5,000 when I can make $20,000 for the day as an OnlyFans girl, whatever that is,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So like when is that line really like blurred for you? And then when you're doing one thing, why wouldn't you start doing another thing, right? Because at that point, it's all about the money and not about the career success or the different goals that you set for yourself. There's no prestige. And I feel like I would never want to get mixed up in that because I don't even want to dabble in it, if that makes sense, because one thing leads to the next.
So for you, it's more so a combination of the morality aspect of it as well as the artistic aspect of what modeling represents, as opposed to what doing anything sexual doesn't represent.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like for me, I'm a very sexual person, but I like to share that with a partner and where I feel safe and I feel there's a mutual benefit. Instead of, I don't feel comfortable opening up sexually to people I don't know, I don't have a connection with.
Sure.
So I think some girls have no problem with that, and I love that. But that's not me, and I think it's because of my upbringing, but also because I feel I want to be respected, and I don't know how respected I could be. I'm not saying that they aren't respected. I guess this is kind of putting me in a weird situation. Yeah.
Why is it putting you in a weird situation?
Because I'm sure some of my friends are on OnlyFans.
Well, you're allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah, true. It's just not for me.
Right. Right.
And I feel like I could make a lot of money on it.
And the reason
Probably could, yeah.
the reason why I brought it up was because today a post by David Dobrik popped up showing Corinna's bank statements, and her like monthly income was like $1 million, like 800,000, like 1.5, 2 million, $1 million. This is like monthly, which is just like mind blowing.
That's insane. I'm joining right now. Just sign me up.
Which brings me to this question, and this is I've asked this from before from guests before, and you know, even in our conversations, you know, and because I believe that everybody has a line as far as the monetary aspect of what they would do or what they would be willing to do in order to let go of their moral hierarchy is concerned. So is there an amount of money in the world that you would accept in order to say yes to something that you otherwise would say no to?
No.
Nothing. So
because
like,
I've been offered a lot of money for things.
what's a lot of money?
So the way I look at it is, you know, honestly, I could be like with some wealthy, like billionaire guy if I wanted to, because I've been approached many times by these type of people to like date me or, you know, buy me gifts, or nothing's free though. And the thing is that I would rather be living in this apartment by myself, broke, let's just say, than have to be owned by someone, have to sleep with someone that I didn't want to, because that would never happen. There's no price, because I value myself and I feel I value my sexuality, and there's literally no price.
$10 billion, you would say no?
I would say no. I honestly, money is not what makes me happy. And so I think if that's really what would make me happy, then maybe I would consider. But we can't take money with us when we leave. We are not.
He believes you can.
I'm taking it all with me. Put that shit in the grave with me.
Yeah, it makes life easier. It does. But I mean, what is life if it's too easy, right?
Well, here's the thing too. Money is like, okay, like the first like $70K is like, okay, you need that to live. Otherwise, like you can't stay anywhere. You have no clothes and no food, blah, blah, blah. And then from like $70K to like, I don't know, maybe like $300-400K, you can do anything except maybe like private jet. But anything, you can stay in 5-star hotels. You can like buy a Lamborghini and like whatever the monthly payments are, like you can pay it. At some point, it's like once you get past that, you're just doing it to flex on people. You know what I mean? It's like your money's not really getting you anything that you couldn't, that's really going to make you like
it's
any
like
happier.
Your quality of life doesn't really change that much.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have more house cleaners and more team helping, assisting you or whatever it is, flying private, which is fine. But I totally agree with you. There's that line of, are you going to make it? Are you going to survive? And are you just flexing? For sure.
Which, don't get me wrong, flexing on people is one of the best feelings in the world. I love that shit. Yeah.
And my goals are to be, flying private, on my own dollar and doing all these things. And I'm working towards it. And I think it's only a matter of time before I'm like, hey guys, let's go on my private jet. So I know that that's possible for me. And I think that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Because I've seen already where I've come from and where I am now. So I have no doubt in my mind that that could be me and that will be me, right? But if it's not, that's fine. And if it's going to be by myself. It's going to be me making me get there.
You need to mentor some of our friends. It's just crazy to me, like hearing you talk, because you seem very humble, very hardworking, down to earth, and yet you like made it more successful than 99% of the models out there. And I meet so many models who have this attitude of like entitlements. I'm a bad bitch. Nobody can tell me nothing. I don't have to work. Agent, give me my blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they have like not like they haven't made it at all. Like not even like 1% of like the success you've had. And it's so crazy to me that they have this like attitude where you're like, oh, I'm actually really humble and hardworking. I don't think I deserve everything. And then it's like, that's probably why you're so successful, you know?
I don't know. That's really funny, but I see it. I see it in a lot of people on set or around me. And I feel like that's when you fall, right? When you think you're better than you are is when you trip and you fall, and someone else who's working really hard will pass you. So I always want to remain humble and remember my roots, because at the end of the day, what is it all for, right? What are we doing this for? And so I come back to what actually makes me happy. Why am I doing this? And when do I feel the best? So if I don't feel good doing something, I don't do it. And I used to, and now I just don't. And and that's how I kind of discovered my value, right? I'm like, okay, I don't feel good doing this, so I'm not going to. And that's my value. Yeah,
but you have the luxury now, though.
Yes.
At the time when you started, right, you had to say yes to a lot of things that were uncomfortable, because otherwise you wouldn't have gotten here.
No, that's
Especially
true.
Based upon what you said, which is like you said your career was very like steady and slow. Yeah. And you just kept the pace going and consistency.
Yeah.
Tom Brady started as a bench warmer. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. He used to be a bench warmer for like years. Yeah.
One of my first jobs was Olive Garden.
Well, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do that now. You know what I mean?
Become a model off of Olive Garden. I would have been eating those breadsticks every single day.
I did. They were free. The salad,
I know.
The salad and the breadsticks were free, and that was all I ate at night. Like, because I didn't have much money to buy groceries.
I would have got so fat. Those breadsticks are bomb. I don't care what anybody says.
Did anybody come up to you and say, hey, you should be a model at that time?
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of people ever since I was like 12 come up to me and say that oh, you should be a model. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And then I think that's why I kind of like got that in my head.
It's conditioned into your brain.
I did my first fashion show when I was 14. I was walking in the mall. I was always like super scrawny and skinny and like awkward.
In that farm town in North Carolina?
Yeah. Well, I went to Raleigh and I was like in the mall and I was in this store called Delia's. It's like a young teen fashion store. And they're like, we're having a fashion show. We need another model. Would love to hire you. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. And I remember it being like one of the coolest things I've ever done. Obviously, there was not that many cool things that I did as a child because I was on a farm. But it was so cool. I got to keep the clothes and I got to walk down the runway. And it was just like, I think that was like one of the moments where I was like, oh, I want to do this when I grow up. And so, yeah.
So that was your starting point.
I think so. I think there was that, and there was the part that I wanted to prove everyone wrong because I was made fun of a lot as a kid, and I was homeschool loser, and my nickname was Horse from the kids in my church because I didn't even have kids in school to make fun of me, as like in the church would make fun of me. And I was so shy, and I loved horses, and I had my whole ceiling covered in horse posters. And I just spent hours with my horses. So I was like a homeschooled horse loser.
Interesting. What's interesting is that some of the fairly successful people that I know are somewhat have been bullied or made fun of when they were a child. You know, he's one of them. Elon Musk obviously is a very, you know, the richest person on the planet, and now Joy.
Yep. I was called Bucktooth before my braces. I had like really messed up teeth. And yeah, and I was super flat chested, and so I was like always insecure about that.
Is that what you were talking about when you said implants?
Yeah, I got implants. I had them for 12 years.
And then you had to take them out because of health issues.
Yep, I took them out 2 months ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Honestly, I feel amazing. So much better.
Good. Interesting. Were they like too big, or like, what was the issue?
I think that anytime you put a foreign object into your body's going to reject it in some way or form. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, and they have all these issues that are happening to them. And I think I didn't realize it for years. And some people have instant rejection to the implants, but mine was like slowly over the years. My thyroid, I was diagnosed with PCOS. I had cravings, migraines, inflammation, couldn't sleep, like all these crazy things that were happening to me, and then pain in my chest. And I was like, I wonder what this is. And then I did research. I found out that it might be my implants. So I made that decision to get them removed, and put my health first.
Has it been hard for you maintaining relationships throughout the years because of your career and the amount of traveling and just the type of work you do?
Yeah, I think so. Yes and no. I'm kind of like a long-term relationship type of girl. I go from like usually like 1 to 3 years with guys, but I think the hardest part of dating a model is you got to be confident. And if you're dating someone that's insecure, what they tend to do, what past boyfriends have done that are awful, is they put you down so that you won't want to leave them. So there was a lot of that in some past relationships that I've had where I was emotionally abused, and there was just like some really shitty situations. And now that I look back at it, and now that I know, it was obviously because they didn't want to lose me, or they were insecure. They had their own insecurities. So you have to be freaking confident to be with someone that is constantly looked at by other people and who's in this industry, in the spotlight. Yeah.
You're currently in a relationship, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that how long have you guys been together?
We just made it to 1 year.
To 1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So do you see, okay. So what do you believe this is going to lead to?
Well, I always hope that it's forever.
Uh-huh. So you always go into it thinking, this is it.
Yeah. I'm not like trying to date just to date.
Uh-huh.
I mean, maybe in the beginning I was. Actually, yes, I was in the beginning. But I think now that I'm older, I really don't want to waste time with someone that's not like lifelong material, right? I want someone that actually I look up to in every way, and who encourages me and makes me a better person. So I see them as, you know, a lifelong partner usually.
Okay, so you said something lifelong material. What are those traits exactly?
Okay, I think someone that's always growing and changing and who's honest, and I think they have to have confidence, but also they're willing to like admit when they're wrong. And I think it's really important to have someone that has the same values that you have. Mm-hmm. That's like, I feel like bottom line, you have to have the same values. Whatever it is, if you want kids, if you want marriage, you got to be on the same like page. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Do you want kids and marriage?
Yeah.
Isn't the clock ticking on that one?
It is, but also I don't want to rush into things, so it's got to be the right person.
And you think the person you're with now is
I
potentially the right person?
I think so. I mean, it's 1 year, so like we're getting to know each other more. I'm not like, I feel like 1 year is a long time. You should have gotten to know each other like 6 months in. If I'm being generous, by the way. Yeah.
You don't think so?
No, I
You guys
agree.
live together?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, I mean, if you live with someone, then you're like, okay, this is definitely going towards where you would think the future plan is.
No, for sure. I pretty much live with him like week 2.
Okay. How did that come about?
I just never went home. I was like, my apartment was just a closet. It still is a closet for like a year now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how old is he?
47.
Okay. And I mean, 12-year difference. That's not, I think so. So I think it's a lot. The age difference as you get older is a lot less relevant, I feel like.
I agree. I think when you're in your 20s, it's like the gap is way bigger, but I'm in my 30s, so I feel like it's gotten a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. I couldn't date someone my age. I feel like I need someone that's more mature.
You don't think people that are 35 are mature?
I mean, have you found anyone?
Well, myself.
Are you 35?
Yeah.
Well, except for you, you're mature.
But I mean,
yeah, but guys mature faster than girls too. So
slower, you mean?
No, fast. What? Have you met girls in LA? What do you mean?
Okay,
I'm way more mature.
So actually, you know what? I'm gonna just scratch that. Age for me has no significance. I think maturity has significance.
Right. Okay.
And
that I agree
so
with. Yeah.
When I'm talking to someone, like before I know their age, I'm not like, oh, he has to be a certain age. I have dated guys younger than me. It hasn't worked out. Mm-hmm. So I tend to go for guys that are older than me, but I'm open to dating. It's no difference to me.
Here's why I think that always happens is I think guys are more attracted to looks and girls are more attracted to confidence, personality, chemistry, that kind of thing, success, ambition. And so like as a guy, you just keep getting better at all those aspects as you get older. Like if you have any kind of ambition, right? Like even like you get more confident, you get more connections, you make more money, you're more successful. And so like all that stuff keeps getting more and more attractive. Whereas like guys mostly just look at girls for looks. So like you wouldn't want to date a girl older than you typically. Unless she was just really good looking still, which can happen, but.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think you know, guys that are younger than me would want to date me, and I am older. But I also feel like it's totally true. I think guys are attracted initially to looks. And I mean, it is kind of how LA is. It's normal to see that huge gap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For me, it's really just the person. And I'm not discriminative against race, against height, against income, age, anything like that. It's really about the connection that I have with that person. And they have to make me laugh, and they have to make me a better person. They have to encourage me, and I have to have fun when I'm with them, because that's what it's all about, right?
Define fun.
Like, you have to genuinely have a good time when you're with that person.
But what is fun for you? How do you have a good time?
Okay. I could have a good time literally just talking for hours. Sex is fun. Have to have a lot of that. I love eating, so have to like eating too.
Ironic.
Working out, working on your health. I think doing activities together, whether it's hiking or, you know, doing new things. I think it's fun to do that kind of stuff.
What is a perfect date?
A perfect date. I like to start in the day. I'm like totally all about doing activities together, hiking, horseback riding, whether it's like an escape room or chess. I'm like all about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love chess. Date? Yeah, I had a chess date once, and I beat the guy, and it was so fun.
Did it like emasculate him, or did he feel like, damn, I just got?
No, we did a replay. He was so mad. I think he was like, damn, she knows how to play chess. So, yeah, I also love backgammon.
Interesting. I'll beat you in both of those things, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay, we'll see about that.
What are some of your red flags?
Ooh, red flags.
Okay, so that's a double-edged question, by the way. So what are your red flags? And then what are some of the red flags that you have on other people? Does that make sense? What are some of other people's red flags as far as you're concerned, and what are some of your red flags personally?
Okay, so personally, red flags for me are insecurities. Like when I see a guy's insecure in the beginning, it's like no go, because that's just gonna ruin everything. I think anytime there's a lie, it's like no go for me. Honesty is huge. Also, if a guy is talking about all of the things he owns or does, and he's just like talking about himself a lot, I'm
trying
like,
to show off.
Yeah, I'm like, bye. Like, let's see actions and not words. And I don't really like when guys are just like really macho and like hitting on me and aggressive. I don't like that, because I'm thinking he's doing this to every other girl, you know? So I like guys that are more like, hey, like, let's get to know each other in a more like friendship manner. Because I don't like guys that are like aggressive. And then don't get me wrong, I like confidence, but not aggression, I guess, if that makes sense.
There's a fine line. Yeah.
And then I love guys that have good style. And wait, we're talking about red flags.
Like, I'm just so positive. I just spin everything into a positive.
I think another red flag could be if he makes you pay for dinner, which actually that's never happened, but
oh, God.
I would be like, bye. I think opening your door and, you know, being chivalrous, I think that's how you say it, is just so important to me. I don't know about other girls. A lot of girls want to open their own doors, not me. Like, I like when a guy like holds my hand, puts a jacket on me, opens the door, pays for the check. It's romantic. And that's just like bottom line requirement.
And then, so what are your red flags?
My red flags, as in what people should be watching out for me.
Yeah. What would you consider are like things that you're working on essentially?
Oh, I don't have any red flags.
Of course you don't.
I'm all green flags.
Joey's all perfect.
No, I honestly have worked on myself a lot to say that anybody that's dating me is going to be really lucky. But I wasn't always like that. I had a lot of insecurities growing up, a lot of problems, a lot of things that I had to grow and learn from. So dating me 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago is a different person, a different version. And there was a lot of red flags maybe back then.
Okay. Let me rephrase that question. I'm gonna try to catch you in this one. What? Okay. So your last relationship ended when?
Just over a year ago.
Of course.
I was single for like 1 month, a month and a half.
Red flag.
Okay, yes. There we go. Okay, that's my red flag.
If I talk to your ex-boyfriend,
okay, yeah,
very recent one, what would he say?
Okay, so he would say that I'm super messy, super unorganized, that, I mean, honestly, I can only think of good things. I'm a great cook, great in bed. No, he would say some, maybe that I wasn't, my career was a hobby and that I wasn't focused enough on it or working hard enough as him. I mean, he would kind of put me down about some things, but I mean, like,
but you don't think that's true? Or do you think it is?
I think that's why we're not together. We don't agree on a lot of things.
Okay. But
yeah.
I mean, you agree on the fact that you're messy.
Okay, that's the one thing I agree on.
That's objective.
Yeah, I am
right?
messy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are unorganized.
I am unorganized.
Okay. Yeah,
I do need an assistant to help me.
Sure. Yeah. Figure.
I'm not the best driver. I've wrecked a lot of cars.
Oh, man. Dear Lord.
You got to be careful with the car you have now.
Oh, yeah. I know. My boyfriend gave me that car to drive. I don't know why, because my track
You're not
record,
a good driver.
My track record's not so good, but I haven't wrecked it yet. So
congratulations.
yeah.
That's another thing you've been working on. You
definitely got insurance.
He definitely has insurance.
I hope he does too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Hope he has the biggest one though. Whatever,
he hasn't let me drive. He hasn't let me drive the Bugatti yet, so I think there's a reason for that one.
Is every single boyfriend you've had extremely successful?
I am attracted to driven, hardworking guys. So there is somewhat of success, whether it's in one area or the other, not necessarily money, because I am attracted to guys that are like very like, I don't know, smart, hardworking, clever, just like go-getters.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you ever dated a broke dude? See, girls always say this, and then I'm like, no, I think it has to be financially successful.
Well,
like, okay, let's say you met a guy, right? He's broke, super broke, makes $70K a year, can barely put food on the table, right? But he's the most ambitious guy. You know, he wakes up at 6 a.m. every day, and he works so hard at the Rubik's Cube. He's like, babe, I'm going to be the top Rubik's Cube champion of the world. And every day he's just fucking doing it. Then you're like, babe, come back and cuddle with me. He's like, babe, I'm working. Blue, blue, red, yellow, yellow, green, green. Like, would you date that guy?
Is he good in bed?
He's great in bed.
He's good at the finger stuff.
No, he has
Rubik's
to be.
Cube.
That's but yes, he's great in bed.
Okay, then yes. Honestly, for me, it's about the connection. And there has to be chemistry. There has to be passion. I've dated models in the past, and male models do not make good money.
Very rare.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we get paid more. It's not fair. But it didn't last. I tried it. I don't really like having to pick up the check. I don't know why. It's just like, it's weird for me. I like someone that's worked as hard as me, you know, and
You like the nice things in life.
I mean, I agree with you. I think here's what I think. I think the equivalent of a guy wanting a hot girl is like a girl wanting a guy with money. Now, I got in an argument with my mom about this because she's like, Zach, she's from Wisconsin, right? Zach, well, you're always dating these models. You need to date like a nice church girl, blah, blah, blah. I have this girl from church. Like, she tries to set me up with like Wisconsin girls from her church. And like, so I was like, okay, Mom. So you want me to date ugly girls? She's like, well, no, not ugly girls, but okay. I'm like, okay, Mom. Do there exist beautiful girls with great personalities? Well, of course. Okay, so if I have a choice between beautiful girl with a great personality or ugly girl with a great personality, of course I'm going to choose the beautiful girl. Just like if you have the choice between a rich guy with a great personality or a broke guy with a good personality, like of course you're going to choose the rich guy. Like this is logical.
No, it's true. I 100% agree. I think you're right with that. But I'm not like going after it. Honestly, I have to be attracted to my partner, bottom line, no matter what. Like, I cannot sleep with someone I'm not physically attracted to. They have to be hot, and that is so important to me. So that's number one. And if they have money, great, because I also have money and I also work hard. So, like, I want a partner that's, like, equal and that can, contribute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pay for the dates.
Yeah.
So okay. So if that's the case, why haven't you have you dated a celebrity then?
Yes.
And why would you say it didn't last? Because it feels like that would be the type of person that fits what you're looking for. No.
I mean, that's totally not true. A celebrity can be anyone. So.
Yeah, but I more so mean as a.
You mean successful and good looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that celebrities can be anyone and anything. And I have dated different celebrities, and it didn't work out because of different reasons. I think for me, it's just like it wasn't a good match. And
why not?
Well, I think that there was just not that chemistry, that passion, that I need. I really have to feel like so passionate about the person I'm with that.
So then did you date them because of their status in the beginning?
Well, I think I was attracted to them at the beginning, and then I realized like this is not doing it for me, if that makes sense. It's just what you think that they are and what they actually are is different. Like when it comes to like the passion and the love, like.
So you were hoping for the passion to be there,
and it
just
wasn't. Yeah.
Exactly. Did it become toxic?
No, I mean.
None of your relationships have become toxic.
No, they have.
Okay.
I'm saying with the celebrities, not really.
Okay.
No, we're still friends. Like celebrity situation, everything's good. Toxic relationships have been in my past. I remember I dated one of my first boyfriends. I was a brand new model. He was a model too. And he's like, let's go to Cape Town, South Africa and work. And I'm like, okay. Uh-huh. So I was like, yay. I was so excited to leave the country. And I went there with him, and it was just an awful relationship. I was like gaslit. I was emotionally abused. Like I remember one of my friends stayed over the night, and then I woke up and they're like sleeping together. He's cheating on me. And then he made me like think that I was the one crazy. It was insane. He was financially abusive. Like he would only give me a little bit of money and then say, you can't work. You're not good enough to be a model yet. And you need to still work on yourself, but here's some money for groceries. And I was like a little bit scared that I wasn't going to get a ticket back home. Mm-hmm. And so that was really toxic. Mm-hmm. That was one of the worst ones.
Wait, who were the celebrities?
Can
you not say it?
I'm not comfortable saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do the names rhyme with?
I signed an NDA.
Glad Glit?
You had to sign an NDA to date the person?
I have
Or
signed.
to have to break up with them.
I make everyone that I date sign an NDA, and
Do you?
That's great. That's interesting. I kind of want to start doing that just for like the power move of being like, oh yeah, you got to sign this because I'm so.
Come on, Joy. What's there to be signing an NDA for?
I'm joking about that. If I want to date
I don't believe you. I think you're serious.
You know who I make sign NDAs? Anyone that comes to my house. And when I'm dating you, like, I trust you. Like, to get to that level.
But why?
There's no contracts.
Why make somebody sign an NDA who comes to your house?
Because I don't want them telling people where I live.
Yeah, because girls have like stalkers and shit.
Yeah, but even then, like, you can't really protect.
I guess you'll never know.
Yeah, like you would never know.
You'll never know what's at my house.
I want to start making girls start signing NDAs.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. You know,
I feel like that's like a power move.
Well, here's the thing, because how sexual she is. Maybe as soon as you walk in, there's like multiple sex rooms.
Could be.
On the walls, handcuffs everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like.
I mean, could be.
We'll never know.
You'll never know.
Unless we sign the NDA.
Yeah, I'll have copies for you after.
All right, last question. Is the green bubble a red flag?
Green bubble? Oh, yes. Wait.
Yes.
No,
Like-
no, that's another one. She said yes.
Shut up. She doesn't even know what's going on.
I had to question that for a second because I haven't gotten green bubbles in a long time. So I was like, wait, green bubble? Yeah, if there's a green bubble, it's like, are you like from another planet? Do you live in LA?
So you wouldn't date a guy who has an Android?
No, I'd be like, is that a BlackBerry?
Is that a flip phone? Do you have a flip phone? You have the Razor?
Joy, just
No,
when I
or
thought
I would
we'd get
think-
along.
Or I would think they have multiple phones. This is their backup phone. That's-
Interesting.
Or they're a scammer, some kind of like scammer
Right?
person. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mo has an
Well,
Android.
that makes me sad. I thought you were smart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're
But
trying to
it's
start
okay.
a GoFundMe to get him a real iPhone so he can be an adult like the rest of us. But
For the last time, my phone is more expensive than yours.
I'll contribute to the GoFundMe.
I'll contribute too. Yeah. I've already pledged $20.
You know, I should just create a GoFundMe just so I could take all your money.
Scammer. What did I tell you? Android people are scammers. I already told you.
What's the plus before your first number? Is it at +9?
That's a good one. That's a first. Good stuff. Thanks for coming on the show. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thanks for having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah, I really
and
appreciate it.
I'm going to go hang out with my boyfriend. So
Good luck. Thanks for watching.
see you guys later.